Hey guys, good evening everyone.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir. Sir, we're waiting for our teacher in charge. We'll start in a while.
You've got to tell your money what to do or it will leave. And for that, you need us. Yes, you heard it right. Good evening, everyone. CDF DSP is delighted to have you all with us to witness this enlightening session on personal finance under Project Bloom. And we assure you that your money is definitely going to stay with you after this session. So I am Snehal, your host for the day. The influence of a good teacher can never be erased, and the one whose influence and support matters the most in our entire team is our teacher convener, Dr. Rita Nagpal ma'am. I would like to welcome our mentor, Dr. Rita Nagpal, MCom, Phil, PhD, and alumni of Delhi School of Economics, University of Delhi. She has work experience of 2 years in the Institute of CS and has also received a research fellowship from the UGC. With more than 20 years of working experience in teaching, she has also played a significant role in serving the society by actively working in various NGOs. She is the backbone of CDS, and we are elated to have her as our mentor. Thank you so much, ma'am, for always standing by us. I will now request ma'am to kindly address the gathering.
Hello, everyone, all my dear students. So, I hope you are all doing very well and keeping safe in this third wave of pandemic. And our freshers, they are here for quite some time now.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, am I audible? Am I audible?
I am not able to hear anyone.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So I was addressing to the freshers right now, and I hope you all are attending your regular classes, though virtually, because that is the way we are having our classes, and you're liking this new phase of your life as well. And CDF is a very special committee for me, one of my committee which is close to my heart because of the motive they are following, they're pursuing, the social service motive, very special and very much required these days. And I want to congratulate Team CDF for taking up all the projects, whether it is Project Bloom or Kilkari or whatever, with full enthusiasm and commitment, and also organizing webinars from time to time for all of you, give you the best exposure which is required for your growth. And in that process of keeping you updated and aware, they have chosen a topic of personal finance this time. So when we talk about finance or money, I think that is the most vital aspect of human life. Since very beginning, we cannot think of a life without money, just like we can't think of a body without blood. So that is the importance of this particular aspect. So this is very important to understand it from all the dimensions. Basically, personal finance hai kya? Personal finance is all about your own money, your own finances. We know it is important. Each one of us is very well aware of importance, but generally we don't know how to manage it so that we can utilize it to the best of the possible way. So that is the things which are important to be understood. That is basically starting with how to earn income generation. कैसे की जाए? कौन सी particular way of income generation is best suited to you? Then how to plan your expenses? Budgeting कैसे की जाए? Then how to plan your savings? Savings again is very important aspect, because that helps you to have sufficient money in the times of need. Then how to invest that money to multiply it further. And all these things, how to earn, how to save, how to manage, how to grow further. All these are aspects of personal finance. So I think it is a very apt topic which you have chosen. And it is very important for you all to learn about it, to understand it from various dimensions, and know about it and utilize it to the best of your capabilities. And I'm sure you are going to learn a lot about it in the sessions to follow. And all the best from my side. Best of luck. Over to you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your kind words. They really mean a lot. On behalf of the entire team of CDS-DSC, I would like to welcome our guest speaker for the evening, Mr. Pranav Thakkar. He is a CA and CFA by qualification, started his journey at the age of 19 as a broker, stock trader. He believes in educating people about investments and finance. With an entrepreneurial mindset, he's always up for learning and experimenting and spreading financial awareness by conducting workshops in colleges, corporate and management institutes. He's one of the youngest persons to ever to clear CA and CFA in our country at the age of 22 years only. We are so glad to have you, sir. So now let's get started. I request sir to please take over.
Perfect. Thank you so much for the kind introductions, Nehal, and thank you, Doctor, as well for starting the session on that note. It was a peaceful, very meaningful information, and I think she's covered a lot of what I'm going to cover in detail. That is what is financial literacy and personal finance and importance of it. So thank you for that as well. Okay, I'd just like to present my screen, if you can just allow me to do that. Okay, perfect. Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Okay. All right. So the session is investing at 19. Okay, and I think this is a very good age to know about these things. This will be a very meaningful session for everyone, because at this age, if you understand these things, you are probably 5 years or 6 years earlier than a lot of people who would probably do these things at 25, 26 when they start earning. So we have a base of 250, 260 students. That's great. That's a good start. So we can start with the session. So yeah, this is about me. I am currently 24 years of age. I'm not that old, so I can probably relate to you much more than any other speaker probably, because I was in the same situation as you guys are, just like 4 or 5 years back. In college, broke, no money, still want to invest. Uh,
हाँ वो
and
पवन सर तो मैंने बोला आपको।
okay. So I'm at that age that where I can probably relate to you guys more, because in college generally we don't have money, we don't have knowledge, but we have time. Okay, and I think that's something that you can invest at that age to know more things about finance and other aspects of life. Uh, the problem that I'm trying to solve here is twofold. One, spreading financial literacy. Why I started? So I started these lectures probably 4 years before, 4 years ago. My fundamental thought process of doing these lectures is basically, a lot of us would be professionally qualified in few years time, but there's still a gap of financial literacy that is pending. So we all are professionally qualified today, but we may not be financially literate. uh, so that is something that I'm trying to solve for. I'm trying to solve that space of financial literacy, where only 8 to 9% of people today of the total population invest in mutual funds. Less than 4% of the people invest in stock markets directly. So you can understand the gap that I'm trying to fill. In India, the overall literacy rate may be close to double digits, but financial literacy is something which is lagging a lot. Okay, so that is what I'm trying to solve. Uh, a quick guide to personal finance. Okay, uh, basically, as ma'am also mentioned, there are 5 things that you need to be aware of. Sorry, oh no. Okay, people are joining and hence the notification. Okay, uh, so there are 5 things. Okay, and we will go step by step to each of these things. How we can manage our finances. And again, when I say personal finance, this is not something which is very fancy, or it is driven by a professional qualification, or you need to do MBA, etc. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. The most basic thing which is required and why you should do it is basically you should know where your money is spent, right? And just a second. Am I still audible? A heads up, please.
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so yeah, so I was saying that basically why is it important is because be it a doctor, be it an engineer, or be it anyone from any field, right? The end goal of everyone is to make money. But you would be rich if you make money, but you would be wealthy if you are able to manage your money. And there's a wide difference. Richness comes from one of or basically you're rich for a particular time. But if you are rich for a long period of time, that's called being wealthy. So we are trying to bridge that gap from being rich to being wealthy. That's very important. Okay. First and foremost, what is important is to create a budget. Okay. When I say budget, it is as simple as you maybe just so basically on a piece of paper, on the left side of it you write your income, and on the right side of it you write the expenses. You need not have a fancy budget book or something like that. It is as simple as just take a piece of paper for the month. On the left side of it, write all the income sources, which will be as simple as maybe if you are a student, it could be a stipend, it could be pocket money that you get from your parents. It should be as detailed. If you are doing some freelancing job and if you get some 500 rupees, write that. What happens is, at the end of the month, you will realize that these are my income sources. This is where I'm spending my time to make money. And is it enough? On the right hand side, what you should do is you should write all the expenses, and it should be as basic as, let's say you spend 50 rupees on some snack on particular day. You mentioned that you spend, let's say, on rent and amenities and let's say commute. All of these should be on the left hand side. So as basic as having food and has as complex or as maximum as paying rent for yourself, if you are staying in another city for education, which is very common. So once you do that, what will happen is basically once you do that, what will happen is you will realize that on the right hand side, there are expenses which have taken your money as well as which has taken your time. Okay. And you will understand your own habits because of these things. On the right hand side, when you see that, let's say you're going out for dinner, let's say twice a week, that's 8 times a month. And that's more than 90 times a year. When you realize these things and you are spending, let's say 500 rupees on one dinner, that's probably 1000 rupees a week, and let's 4000 rupees a month. You will realize that one, you're spending few hours every week, you're spending some money every week, and that will actually help you to understand your spending habits, your habits of whether you are willing to spend that much amount of time with that kind of person or not. Okay. I'm not saying going out is wrong or right. That's not my thing to say, but you will realize for yourself whether going out, spending on drinks, spending on food, spending on XYZ activity, is it worth or not? Okay. At the end of the month, you have to be analyzing your habits, spending habits. The next step is you cut down on these things. So if let's say you're going 8 times, you are going out at 8 times a month, maybe you can cut it down to 7, maybe you can cut it down to 6 times. That's like 1000 rupees of saving, right? Eventually you will understand that once you do these things regularly, you will be able to save some money because you will cut down your expenses. You will form new habits because once you cut down these expenses, your time will be saved and that will be invested in newer productive activities. Okay. Just for example, okay, when I started, what happened? Okay, on the right side, when I started with expenses, I was writing, I used to go to play cricket for let's say 4 hours in a week and spending some 500 rupees a week. There was some activity on dinner. There was some activity on something XYZ. At the end of the month, I realized, yeah, this is something that is not required. I cannot spend so much time. I cannot spend so much money on this particular activity. See, the important thing is when you spend 50 rupees on some food item, okay, on some snack, that may not disrupt your thought process because it's just 50 rupees. But when you extrapolate it on a larger scale, maybe on a month scale, on a week scale, you will realize that, yeah, that's a lot of money and that's a lot of time. You may not need that. I'll give you one simple example here. Okay, there was this friend of mine who was very much interested into coffees. So she used to go to Starbucks almost twice a week. Okay, that frequent. And then I happened to speak with her once, and I told her, how often do you go to Starbucks? She's like, maybe twice a week, maybe thrice a week. I'm like, okay, let's take twice a week for now. So that's like you spend what, 400 rupees per visit? She's like, yeah, I have 300 to 400 easy. I'm like, good. And then that's twice a week, so that's 800 rupees a week. And then probably I just multiplied that by a month. So that's like 4 weeks in a month. You are going there 8 times. You're spending 400 every time. That's like 3,200 rupees per month. Let's take 3,000 and then you multiply that by year. You are spending some 12,000 rupees. Sorry, 3 into 12. So 36,000 rupees a year on Starbucks. She's like, oh, now I realize I did not catch that. So things become more clearer if you extrapolate and see it on the larger scale. 400 rupees for a visit may not be expensive, but 400 rupees on a visit multiplied by the frequency may be expensive on the larger scale. And then she cut it down to, let's say, once a week, or maybe, it helped. So that's when she realized that I'm spending some 36,000 rupees on Starbucks every year. I'm spending 2 hours per visit every week, and which is not required. So you are changing your habits to an extent that you are developing new habits as well as you are saving money. That's very, very important. That's second. Third is, once you do these things, you will save some money, and that money you should use to repay your debt. Okay, now what is that? So basically, when I say that you guys may be into student loan, or you guys may be into your parents may be into housing loan. there is a element of interest when the financing happens. There is an interest that you have to pay, which is compound interest. And whenever you are in debt, these compound interest is very expensive. Okay, I will do this activity to understand how it works in the long term, but primarily as a guide to personal finance, you should make sure that you are out of debt, as soon as possible. If you have taken a loan, make sure you repay it as soon as possible. That's very, very, very important. The fourth is saving for retirement. So as ma'am mentioned that you should have that habit of saving, and also eventually you should realize how you can convert that habit of saving into also investing money. And I'll tell you why I have stricken off saving and I've kept investing. Why is it important? Okay, so you guys are from Delhi, and I am sure Delhi ka food is very famous. It's very famous for street food and stuff. So let's say when you started your college, and you would have started starting eating out. Okay, just give me a minute. Sorry for the disturbance. I had to attend someone at a door. So basically, let's say when you start your college, and then you would have gone out to eat something. Let's say a dosa. Okay. Probably that plate would have costed you some 50 rupees or 60 rupees. Now that same plate will cost you some 70 or 80 rupees. Okay. Why is it happening? Because there is this concept of inflation, which is basically eating away your money. Every year in India, your money is depreciated, or let's say so the items are getting expensive by 6 to 7%, basically because of inflation. So if you just save money, you will not be able to buy that same product or service which you would have been able to afford it in the first year, primarily because of inflation. Hence, it is very important that you invest in tools that give you a return which is higher than inflation. इससे क्या होगा कि आप इन्फ्लेशन को बीट कर पाओगे. अगर आपको कुछ चीज पसंद है तो आप आगे भी उसको ले पाओगे, because you have that money which is growing at a rate of inflation. I'll maybe just take a pause here. If there are any questions until now, we can maybe take that. And if you guys have questions, just like unmute yourself and guys can ask. That should be fine.
Sir, there's no option for unmuting for the audience. They'll put it in the chat box only. And till now, there are no questions. Perfect. Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. Okay. All right. The last thing is basically around insurance. Okay. And this is also very important today because of COVID, and what we have seen that has happened in the recent times. Basically, there are two types of insurance. Okay, one is your medical insurance. Second is your life insurance. When I say medical insurance, is basically whenever there is some hospitalization that happens. Okay, and you might have to let's say spend money on your treatment. It will cost you a few lakhs. Okay, that easily few lakhs, and hence it is very important that if you have a cover which will safeguard you against these costs, that will be very much important, because otherwise what will happen is some savings will go away. I mean, if you have saved some money, it will just go away. And hence insurance is very important because it will safeguard you against these costs. So medical insurance is basically every year you have to pay some premium, and if there is unlikely event because of which you have to get hospitalized, or there is some medical expenditure, that is taken care of by the insurance companies. So अगर आपको let's say अगर God forbid अगर कुछ COVID हो गया किसी को, ठीक है, if you are admitted in the hospital, it will easily cost you 3 to 5 lakh rupees. तो आपका फैमिली का सेविंग्स 5 लाख का चला जाएगा अगर आपने मेडिकल इंश्योरेंस नहीं करवाया होगा तो. Hence, it is very important, and specifically for people of our parents' age, who are in the age of 40, 50, 60, they are very much prone to newer diseases.
उनको हो सकता है बहुत जल्दी, बिकॉज दे उनका ability to restrain थोड़ा कम हो जाता है. Hence they may catch newer diseases very fast as against us who are younger and may take time. So उनका तो होना ही चाहिए, पेरेंट्स का तो होना ही चाहिए. Second type of insurance is life insurance, which is basically if there's an uncertain event in the form of death of any family member, then the members of the family get some amount of money so that they can continue their lifestyle if there is no earning member of the family. Hence, life insurance also becomes very, very, very important because and it's very important for you guys to take it today for yourself, because agar aap young hote ho, if you are in the age of 19, 20, 21, you get the premium, you get the insurance at a very low premium, and that is being locked for the life. Agar aapne 60 years ka insurance liya hai, and let's say you take the insurance today, then the premium for that insurance is locked at the lifestyle that you have currently. तो आपको अभी ये एज पे डिजीज नहीं होगा, ये एज पे आप यू आर नॉट प्रोन टू डेथ, एंड हेंस द प्रीमियम इज वेरी लो. Hence it makes sense for you guys to take insurance policy as soon as possible, as soon as you get your first income. Okay, that was on this. Okay, and okay, I can see one question. Invest in stock markets, I'm asking because there are speculation of market being in a bull. Okay, we'll take questions on stock markets later during the discussion. Okay, perfect. Let's go ahead on this. Basically, we have discussed on what we need to do on expenses. Okay, when we need to evaluate and analyze the expenses, we also need to understand what we can do about the income sources. Okay, and then even that's important because primarily there are two sources of income. One is ordinary income, another is passive income, and basically ordinary income is something which you get in exchange of time. ठीक है, अगर आप सैलरी में आपने जॉब कर रहे हो, आपको सैलरी मिलती है. अगर आप फ्रीलांसिंग में किसी के लिए काम कर रहे हो, you put in 5 hours, they'll pay you per hour. So basically, the more number of hours you put in, the more money you get, and hence it's a trade-off between time and money. I'm sure you guys would be agreeing on that. And the problem is that because it's a trade-off between time and money, होता क्या है कि you can only earn a maximum amount beyond which you cannot, because आप उससे ज़्यादा time नहीं डाल पाओगे. For example, if you are getting let's say 1 lakh rupees a month for putting in 8 hours of your time, अगर आप 10 घंटे डालोगे तो आपको 12 लाख मिलेंगे, 2 लाख मिलेंगे. लेट्स से आप अगर 14 hours डालोगे तो आपको 3 लाख मिलेंगे. There's a trade-off, but you cannot put in beyond 24 hours, in a particular job, because आपके पास है नहीं. Hence, there is a cap on the maximum amount that you can make in terms of your ordinary income. अगर आप freelancing कर रहे हो, you cannot make a lot of money beyond a particular point, because आपके पास time limited है. Hence, what you should do is, you as a personal finance guidance, you should convert your ordinary income into passive income. इससे होगा क्या? Now let's understand passive income क्या होता है. Passive income is basically income that you get without your own efforts. ठीक है? For example, अगर आपने बैंक में पैसा रखा है, बैंक आपको इंटरेस्ट देता है every quarter, every year कुछ इंटरेस्ट देता है. That interest you are getting because you have kept money in the bank, not because you are working for the bank. So it's basically free income that you get without doing anything else, right? And hence it is very important that you convert your ordinary income into passive income. What are other sources of passive income? One is your bank में आपने पैसा रखा है, fixed deposits. If you are investing into stocks, then you get something called as dividends, which is also passive income. So more amount that you transfer from ordinary income, you convert it from ordinary income to passive income, the better it is for you, because आपको आगे जाके आपको टाइम कम मिलेगा, तो आपको काम नहीं करना पड़ेगा और आपको पैसा मिलेगा. So hence it is important that you build this portfolio income as far as possible. Am I clear on this? Any questions? Any points that you would like to discuss? Okay. Okay, perfect. I'm assuming that there are no questions. Perfect. All right. Snehal, I'll need your help here. Okay. I'll need your help with some mathematics. Okay. We'll do one activity. I wanted to explain a concept of compounding and how it works. So this formula is given by Mr. Ramesh Damani, who says that as youngsters you should invest when you are young. You should invest in appreciating assets, and you should invest in assets for a very long term. Okay. And if you do these three things, the wealth that will be created over a period of time will be exponential. And I want to explain this with some activity. Okay. So let's assume that you have around 10 lakh rupees and you start investing at the age of 25. Okay. Why 25? Because abhi paisa nahi hoga. तो हम build करेंगे 6 साल में 5 साल में, and then when we are 25 we'll invest 10 lakh rupees. You will invest in assets that double every 3 years. Okay, that's the thing that we are taking considering, and we'll invest for, let's say, 30 years, or 30 years, because 30 years is basically the time of work. मतलब we retire by 55 60, right? तो 30 साल पकड़ते हैं. तो 30 years के टाइम में आपके पास, अगर आपका पैसा 3 साल में डबल हो रहा है, तो आपके पास 10 डबल हो जाएंगे. Are you with me? Perfect. So I want you to calculate it for me and let's do it together. अगर हम 10 डबल करेंगे तो कितना पैसा बन जाएगा 30 साल के बाद? Are you clear on the expectation?
That's double.
Sorry?
We are doing it 10 times.
Yeah, so we'll do it together. It's okay. So basically आपने first double किया तो आपका पैसा 10 लाख के 20 लाख हो जाएगा. Second double किया तो 20 का कितना हो जाएगा? 40? Perfect. Help me with this. Okay, now इतना मैंने कर लिया, easy था. अभी थोड़ा difficult आएगा तो आपको करना पड़ेगा. The third will be
40.
40 का 80.
Yeah, there is 80.
80. Then
160.
Then
320.
perfect. So let's take a pause here. Okay, we are going to do 10 doubles. हमने 5 कर लिए, which means 15 years of your life, because it's getting doubled every 3 years. तो 15 साल में हमने 10 लाख का 3 crore 20 lakhs कर दिया. Correct? Let's do it. Okay. उसके बाद
320, then 640.
640. Then
1280.
1280. Let's round it off to, let's say, 13 crores for the sake of simplicity. Okay. 13 crores का फिर कितना हो जाएगा?
26.
26. And then
52.
52. And then
104.
perfect. So see, the point that I'm trying to make here is basically, if you see, in the first 15 years, we have reached from 10 lakh rupees to 3.2 crores. And in the next 15 years, we have reached from 3.2 crores to 104 crores. Okay, 104 crores. And that's like a lot of money. And if you see, most of your wealth is being created in the later part of your life, because you are staying in the long-term game. If you know Warren Buffett, उनके साथ भी ऐसे ही हुआ था. He has made around 95% of his wealth after he turned 53. Okay, today he would be 85 or 90. He started investing in the first, I think at the age of 11. Okay, so in the first 40 years that he invested, he did not make much money as compared to what he is today. उनका maximum wealth जो आया वो last 30 years में आया है. So the point that I'm trying to make is compounding of returns work for people who stay in the game for long term. आप अगर लंबा खड़े रहोगे, if you stay in the market for long term, and if you let the money multiply itself, you will see benefits that will compound exponentially in the later part of your life. So hence you should start early so that you get more time. You should invest in appreciating assets, and you invest for a long term. That's the simple formula that I'm trying to give you. Thanks, Nehal. That was really helpful. Some assets, some stocks that have done exponentially well in the last 30 years and last 20 years that I've tried, I would like to share it with you. Basically, आप देखोगे तो there are stocks that have done exponentially well in the last 30 years. Okay, and this is something that is available on Google as well. I mean, this is not something that I've created on my own. limited point that I'm trying to make is basically if you invest in good stocks and you stay invested, the wealth will be created. You don't have to do anything. You have to just be smart enough to identify these things in the first place. So this is what I was saying. So there was one question which said that I don't have money, and how can I start? At the age of 18. This the answer is very simple. Okay, you can invest as low as 1,000 rupees. You don't need 10 lakh. That was just an example, just to understand things. But if you can start with as low as minimum as 500 rupees, 1,000 rupees. And okay, I've done some calculations for you guys. If you invest 1,000 every month regularly, it can become 70 lakh rupees in 30 years time. And if you calculate the total amount that you put in, 1,000 into 12 for a year, that's 12,000 into 30, that's 3,60,000 rupees that you have put in will become 70 to 75 lakhs in 30 years time because of compounding. And I've taken a return of 15%, which is an average return that Indian market offers. And if you increase that amount to 5,000 rupees a month, you would be investing 60,000 rupees a year into 12, which would be around 7,20,000. That can grow to 3.6 crores in 30 years. There are two important things here. One, you are investing some amount every month consistently, irrespective of the market. Second, you are investing for a very long term. If you do these two things, consistency and disciplined approach for a long term, your returns can be exponential. So if you are a student, college student, जो मैंने भी किया था, I started with an SIP in a mutual fund with as low as 1,000, 2,000 rupees. अगर हम वो करते हैं, then you can grow the money to 30 years. Okay. And why I have taken 15%? Uska answer ye hai because Indian index is offering around 16%. So on the safe side, I've assumed to be 15%. This is very much achievable with the Indian indices as well. What are the benefits of starting early? Okay, this is something that we discussed. One is you end up saving more because you start early. You have more time to recover because if at all you go wrong on a particular thing, you have an entire life ahead to make things good. If you are younger, you have a higher risk taking capacity simply because of the psychology. Your parents will not be willing to invest more or risk more because they have a family to run. You don't have anyone to run. You don't have anyone to feed. So maybe that improves your risk taking ability. Time value of we discussed compounding. कैसे काम होता है. And fourth is basically if you do this and if you have let's say 100 crores जो हमने calculate किया, do you not think that's enough for retirement? I mean, 100 crores is a lot of money. If you have that, then you can easily retire. Right? Last thing, one more thing was, what is the right time to invest? And everyone asks me, ki, bhai, kab invest karna chahiye, and in the last 5-6 years, a lot of bad things have happened. I mean, bad for the economy, bad for the market. If you look at demonetization, if you look at GST, and a lot of things have happened. The scams that have happened, the scandals that have happened, China के बीच में trade war हुआ, COVID हुआ, काफी चीजें हुई है, but still the markets have gone up, right? So you may not be able to time the market, to be very honest. The only thing that you can do is to invest today and you invest regularly. Do not time the market, but stay in the market for a long time, right? Timing may not be important, but time in the market may be important. Okay, you have to spend more time in the market rather than timing the market. So that's really important. What are the benefits of investing in stocks? Okay, one, you don't need a lot of capital. So if you compare it with real estate, आपको 1 crore 2 crore का घर लेना होगा एक साथ. You don't have that money. So investing in stocks will be as low as 500 rupees, 1,000 rupees. Flexibility, because you can invest wherever you want in terms of diversification, in terms of stock picking. अगर आपको कोई sector पसंद नहीं है, आप change कर सकते हो. Flexible है. अगर आपको पैसा चाहिए, आप निकाल सकते हो. You can sell the stocks and you can get the money in as less than 2 days, right? So बेसिकली कुछ पैसा अटकने का वो नहीं रिस्क नहीं है. आपको पैसा तुरंत मिल सकता है. रियल एस्टेट में आपको सेलर ढूंढना पड़ेगा, बाय ढूंढना पड़ेगा. यू हैव टू मेक द ट्रांजैक्शन, फिर डॉक्यूमेंटेशन करो, फिर 2 महीना लगेगा. So all of that hazards are not there in stock markets. Dividend, this we discussed, because if you invest in stocks that give dividend, then that's a regular income for you as well. It's a passive income source. Capital appreciation, that is what we discussed. Basically, stocks like Wipro and other stocks have gone up exponentially. So that's an added advantage for you guys. Capital appreciation is there. One important thing is opportunity to invest in the future businesses. Okay, so this is very important. Okay, just spend 2 minutes on this. According to me, there are only two ways to become super rich in this world. Okay, one is you do something what Elon Musk has done, or you do something what Steve Jobs has done, or Mark Zuckerberg has done, or let's say in India, Reliance, Mukesh Ambani has done. You build a company on your own. You have some idea, you build a company on your own. However, the second thing is you can become a Warren Buffett, you can become a Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, who have not built their own company, but they have identified these good businesses and they have invested in these businesses. So अगर आपके पास आइडिया नहीं है कि आप खुद क्या कर सकते हो, बट आपके पास टैलेंट है कि आप कुछ अच्छा आइडेंटिफाई कर सकते हो, so you can, stock market will give you that opportunity to invest in future businesses. If you think that electric vehicle is the future, you may identify stocks that relate more to electric vehicle and you invest in that theme in per se. So you have an opportunity to invest in future businesses with the help of stocks. If you are not able to create a business on your own, you can invest in businesses that are going to do well. Low startup cost, again, I mentioned, the cost to open a Demat account and stuff is very minimum. So no costs associated here again. Any questions? Okay, I can see a few questions. Maybe Snehal, you can just take them up and let me know.
So there are a few questions.
Sure.
The most asked is that they are not confident about spending the money because it is not there. So how to gather that courage?
Sorry, can you come again? I did not catch that.
Yeah, so they feel that the money is not there, so they do not have the courage to start investing. So how to gather that courage here?
Perfect. So that's one common problem across students, which is basically no money, and I see that as a positive thing. Okay, because stock market is something which is an expensive affair if you don't do it right. Okay. Hence, it is very, very important that while you are young, you take these risks, because आपका learning cost बहुत कम हो जाएगा. Just for example, अगर आप अभी 19 साल के हो, and if you have, let's say, 1,000 rupees, and if you, let's say, lose all of it, you are going to lose 1,000 rupees. But when you are, let's say, of my age, or let's say 24, 25, you may have 10 lakh rupees to start with, and you may end up risking all of it while learning itself. So right now, if you don't have money and if you lack courage, that's the best time to start with a low capital. Start with a very low capital, take risks, start learning. Isko aap investment in learning ki tarah, not investment for yourself. And hence that will make sense a lot when you are 3-4 years down the line. It will make a lot of sense. So start with a lower capital. It's okay to lose it all as well.
We have a few more thoughts. So the best platform for investment. Yes.
I may not recommend a platform which is best. I use Motilal Oswal personally. I use Upstocks as well. It really is dependent on how comfortable you are with that platform and how service oriented you are. If you are service oriented, like you need help and so Motilal Oswal would be someone. So I help a lot of students who open accounts with Motilal Oswal as well, guide them. So that happens with brokers that are premium brokers. With discount brokers, you don't get kind of service, but you get the interface and the platform to trade. So you can do it on your own types. Yeah.
Yeah, and Suryanshi wanted to ask that at the age of 20, is it better to be an investor or a trader?
Again, see, that is dependent. That's quite a personal choice, to be very honest, on what your psychology allows you to do. Trading is more of a day-to-day job. Okay, it's a full-time job or a full-time business, I would say. It takes a toll on your head if you are not doing it right. Whereas investing is little more passive as compared to trading. Trading is very active. And then trading requires a lot of skills as well. You cannot just start as you can start with investing. Investing मैंने बोल दिया कि ये stock में डाल दो, आप डाल दोगे, आप छोड़ दोगे. Whereas trading is something which may require you to spend a lot of time on learning and spend a lot of time in doing it as well. So ideal journey would be you start investing, and parallelly you can learn about trading, maybe risk few bucks on trading as well, learn trading eventually, and then maybe become a full-time trader. But ideally the journey starts with investing for most of us.
And one child wanted to ask, what are the appreciating assets? He wanted a few examples of appreciating assets.
Sure. So see, something like real estate is appreciating, stocks, mutual funds, these are appreciating. Crypto and stuff would be volatile. I'm not sure if we can call it as appreciating as yet, because it does not have historical evidence of, it has gone up, it has also come down. Whereas depreciating assets would be, if you're buying a mobile phone, the value depreciates. If you're buying a car, the value depreciates as soon as you buy it, right? So basically appreciating assets वो होते हैं जो अगर आप second hand लोगे तो आपको महंगा मिलेगा. Whereas depreciating assets वो होते हैं जो आप second hand लोगे तो आपको सस्ता मिलेगा. तो कार अगर आपने 18 लाख की ली है और आप अगर बेचने निकलोगे 3 साल बाद, वो आपको 10 लाख की हो जाएगी या 8 लाख की हो जाएगी. So those are depreciating assets, whereas stocks and other things are appreciating assets.
Yes, and one person wanted to ask a few trading apps which they should consider at this early age.
See, one app for trading is tradingview.com. I'll just write the names as well so that it's helpful for you guys. Tradingview.com, investing.com, Scanner करके एक ऐप है, फिर Trendline करके एक ऐप है. So these are few apps that you can use as a resource. Tickertape करके, yeah, someone mentioned Lakshay, yeah, Tickertape करके एक ऐप है. So these are few apps which will give you data. Money Control is a very good app as well. Screener है, yeah, Screener is more for investments. Trading के लिए भी है. Also you can look at option chain and other things as well. If you are into trading, this you will get it on NSE website. So these things are important resources for you guys. Yeah, Grow, IIFL, वो सब मतलब these are good apps, and these apps are offered by all brokers today. So आपको मिल जाएंगे. That's not a problem. But primarily these are the 4 or 5 I mentioned were universally used. So आप use कर सकते हो. Any other questions, Neil?
So nothing as such, but yes, there's a latest question. How to start if I want to make a career in stock market?
See, one thing is start with learning things rather than practicing it directly, because that will come at a cost, which is losses. So don't do that. Start with learning. So there is this portal called Zerodha Varsity. It's a, I'll just write it on the chat. Zerodha Varsity basically has a lot of material on trading as well. So you can, you start reading on these things if you're interested, maybe dwell deeper into it. There's one book called The Candlestick Bible, which you can start with if you want to, know about trading in detail. And then maybe, these things will take you somewhere at some point, and you will realize कि हाँ ठीक है, यहाँ तक हम पहुँच गए, अब इससे आगे जाना है. Then you will maybe read something else. But these are like basic books and basic stuff that you should read before you start a career in trading.
And there's this interesting question. Can you please divide the percentage of money that we must save, spend, consume, and invest?
Ideally, what I follow is, if let's say, I will give you 2 examples. Okay, one, if you don't have responsibilities on your head, then I think 30 to 40% will be in the bucket of needs, which will include your daily food, rent, commute to college. If abhi thoda kam hai, but whatever is, I'm speaking of a normal scenario. 35 to 40% will be needs. 20 to 30% will be wants. Basically, that is your luxury where you go out with your friends and maybe you spend some money on, let's say, for mobile phone, yeah, luxury items, which may not uh, like need it compulsorily, but agar hai to achhi baat hai waisa. And the balance 30% should be in the luxury, in the investment bracket, savings bracket. So 40 30 30 is a good ratio to have. And eventually you can increase your amount of in savings, because as you scale up, अगर आपको ज्यादा पैसे मिलते जाएंगे, आपकी नीड्स वैसे नहीं बढ़ेगी. आप खाना तो 2 बार ही खाने वाले हो, ऐसा नहीं है कि आपके पास पैसे ज्यादा हो गए तो 3 बार खाओगे, ऐसा नहीं होगा, राइट? तो नीड्स का परसेंटेज कम होते जाएगा as you scale up in your income bracket, and maybe you can save more and invest more.
So I think we'll take up a last question because of the time constraint. They're asking for a few book suggestions for learning
मैं वो
about
भेजता
stock
हूँ.
market.
At the end of the lecture I'll suggest few books.
All right, sir. That then solves their query. Yes, you can continue.
Perfect. Okay. काफी helpful. There was one question on how to analyze stocks, and I'm taking that now. Okay, on this slide, basically, see, there are two things that I do. One is the top-down approach, which is basically you analyze, identify the sector, the theme overall. So let's say for me in the next 15 years, let's say electric vehicle is a theme that I'm very confident on. I feel that's something that is going to do well. Once you have identified that theme, identify the sectors that are going in that. So agar aap electric vehicles bologe, it's not just cars. It's basically tires. It's basically batteries that will come in, the glasses that go in that, the metal that go in that car that to form it, right? So these things will also contribute to electric vehicle. Agar aapko electric vehicle, then another thing would be the petrol stations. I mean the charging stations for electric vehicles that will be formed. So the infrastructure would be something which is very much booming, which will boom probably with the emergence of electric vehicles, right? So these things also come into play. So what I do is I identify the larger theme, which is the EV theme, electric vehicles theme, and उसमें मैं sectors ढूंढता हूँ, and वो sectors में फिर stocks ढूंढता हूँ. So that is my approach to identify stocks, top down. Second thing that I do is I don't identify stocks, I identify businesses that do well. I actually check the ground reality कि अगर मैं वो consume करूंगा कि नहीं करूंगा. So if let's say I am moving from, I was using Vodafone ka network and I've now moved to Jio, that says something about the company as well. If as a consumer I'm changing my preferences, unki sales bhi affect hogi na. So that will show up in the business for them as well. So why Vodafone has gone down in price and why Reliance is doing well is also because of the consumer changing consumer preferences, right? So you should check on the ground what you are using, things that are going around you, and that will also give you some intelligence around what things you can purchase as part of businesses as well. Another thing that I follow is basically the strategy of investing. Basically, I look at 4 things. Okay, the first one is the quality of management. Basically, how well the owners are, in terms of education, in terms of experience. Are they someone to be relied upon or not? So basically, if I tell you that Tata ki koi company, then I will rely ki haan, Tata is a good brand and they are good owners. So quality of the business and quality of the management is something that you should first check. Second, you should check whether they are in an industry which is growing or which is going down. So if they are growing, if they're in a growing industry, then the company's growth is important. If they're in an industry which is going downhill, then irrespective of how fast the company is growing, the industry is going down, it won't make sense. Eventually, it will go down as well. So, for example, as soon as the Jio Fiber business came in, a lot of cable operators had to shut down because they were eating their space. So if there's some company who is getting into cable space, for example, that's a no-brainer. I mean, that's going in a downward going industry. It doesn't make sense, right? Because eventually it will go down. Longevity is basically you have to check whether the revenue that the company is making, is it sustainable in the next 4 or 5 years, or was it just a one-off phenomena that happened, right? And the last is the price, whether you are paying the right price for the right company. It shouldn't happen that you buy a lot of overvalued stocks, and valuation plays a very important role here. Yeah. Last thing on avoidable mistakes, basically, this is what we discussed. You have to stay in the market for long term. Don't time the market. Stay patient, stay disciplined. and yeah, I mean, stay in the market for long term without hesitating the downfalls in the market. I think that's it from my side as well. Considering the time as well, I think we are on time. This is something additional that I've created. You can take a screenshot or a photo and maybe just save it for yourself. These are some careers in finance. If you're interested into finance, what are the roles that you can take up in the future, and this is something. These are some courses that can help you to reach that course. So दोनों की आप screenshots ले सकते हो. I'll just wait here for a minute for a few seconds. And I think, yeah, that was it from my side. If you feel, I think it was a quick session for an hour. If you feel you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me on Instagram. We can discuss a lot on stock markets in details in person. If you need any help on guidance on your career and or any profile specifically, if you are also into writing, reach out. Yeah, and just in general, I'm always available. Feel free to reach out and let me know if you have any questions. Snail, if you see any questions, we can take them up as well.
We can take one or two questions, sir. So one question says, can you please list the asset class which double themselves in every 3 years, if there are any?
There are only stocks that double every 3 years. I mean, there are no asset class in general that will give you the return. I mean, in overall category wise, even stock markets will give you on an overall level will give you 15 to 20%. But if you identify few stocks, see, 20% is an average of best performing stocks and worst performing stocks. So you have to have that skill to identify stocks that double every 3 years, and that's what will take you to the 100 crore club. I mean, if reaching 100 crore club would be that easy, everyone would be there, right? So it's probably the 1% richest population club. So yeah, that's difficult to identify, but yeah, you will find stocks.
And one question was, which professional course to prefer in today's time? See, considering CA, CFA, CMA, which one to prefer in today's time?
To do what? I mean, see, if you want to make a career in stock markets, then CFA would be helpful. And if you want to make a career in trading, there is a course called CMT, Chartered Market Technician, which will be very, very useful for you guys if you want to make a career in trading.
And I guess the last question can be the process of getting into a broking field. The last question. Yeah.
Getting into a broking field.
Broking field.
So at this age, you start at the bottom. I mean, you start as an equity research intern or a sales executive in a broking firm as soon as you graduate. Right now, nahi. Abhi to nahi milega job, but as soon as you graduate, you can apply for these firms at these positions, and then you ladder up within the organization as you grow.
I guess that solves their query.
Perfect.
Guys, if you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out to us. Because of the time constraint, we cannot take any more questions right now.
Sure. You wanted some books, so
yeah, they wanted a few books.
Just message me on Instagram if it's possible. Otherwise, there's one book called Candlestick Bible for Trading. There's one book called Rich Dad Poor Dad, which will give you a basic sense on personal finance as well. Intelligent Investor is one book if you want to make a career into investments per se. So there's one book on trading, one book on investment, and one book on personal finance to start with, and then we can explore.
So yeah, that's great, sir. So with this, we'll wind up. So on behalf of the entire team of PDF DSP, I would like to thank you, Pranav sir, for illuminating our evening. It was indeed an exhilarating session. It's remarkable that such an untouched yet significant topic was taken up by you in today's session and was discussed, and we are delighted to be given this opportunity of hosting you, sir. Thank you for an outstanding session.
Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you so much for inviting me, and it was a pleasure to be a part of you all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Audience, we now have the winners for our quiz, which was held on our Instagram handle on the 27th of January. So the winners are Surbhi, Paushali, and Tanay. So guys, we'll contact you personally for your portfolio reviewing. And thank you all the other participants as well. So thank you everyone for staying till the end. We hope that this session by Pranav sir was able to enlighten you more about personal finance. But this is not the end. We have one more last announcement to make. You all must be aware that we have World Cancer Day on the 4th of February. And to spread awareness for the same, we at CDF are organizing a competition. And as mentioned, this is a competition about raising awareness. So the participants are supposed to submit an artwork or a monologue or a poem that has some message related to the World Cancer Day. Whoever is interested can submit their entries through this link in the chat box. The link will be posted in the chat box for you. And of course, then we have some amazing cash prizes and goodies for the winners. They will be delivered to your doorstep. So register now, submit your entries, and we all are waiting for you. Thank you so much, everyone, for your time, and stay safe.
Thank you, everyone.